see beyond the veil in the world, the language, English, decode everything about the language, belief systems, structures, manipulation, decipher what's going on in the reality, decipher language. So many different components that actually say and speak to you all the time, but they speak to you in a code that we have yet to really fully begin to decrypt. And that code, of course, is our language. Language functions as a program in our mind, a program that was placed in a highly magnificent being to begin to govern how we think, how we feel, and how we interpret the reality. Much of the inspiration of the symbolism that we're using in the reality today, the geometry that some have usurped and said belong to dogmatic systems and belief structures, all of this coming from the ocean. Our true origins is from the sea, or the ocean is a reflection of what goes on in space, as above, so below. The English words are actually backwards. We have now begun to compartmentalize ourselves with the language by saying the same word but giving it different meanings, when in fact every word that sounds the same does have some very unique connection. Even hieroglyphs, which are over 2,000 characters, but when you read it from down to up, you get the ascended explanation of what's being written. This allows you to begin to fully understand the depth of what's being written. Because we're on a language that goes from left to right, which is called clockwise, that's also actually the direction of our decay. Go beyond the language, go into the tones and the frequencies and the cymatics, and begin to truly realize what your name is. And your name is unique, but often hidden. So that's why name is an anagram for the word Amen, and the word Amen, of course, means hidden. The language was put together by a specific group of people in order to control the mindset of the people who are later on to adopt that language. Which language is very occult. As we know, language is spelling or spell. Our language that actually shows us that it's very magical, and the ability to speak, especially to speak something into existence by using the proper tones, is one of the powers that we have that give us such high levels of sentience. But a system that does not reflect that level of power, then we become limited by the program. Your knowledge that there is a parallel to this reality through the looking glass, which of course is the mirror. And what they're referring to is that there's a pairing that needs to go on at times with your vision, and also how you interpret things in order for you to see the complete picture. That's a universal blueprint or a cosmic law in the realm that we're in. Find the secret to many things by simply pairing them. People only have half of the language. They don't know what's beyond, so that they can begin to connect things and then go into the great continuum of themselves. That symbolism is in turn used to trigger our consciousness into believing in something that actually has a far more primordial existence than what generally is depicted. In most geometry, you'll find pentagrams, hexagons, etc. are found in the ocean. They don't actually have a connection with many of these religious systems and dogmas. They have a connection more with what goes on in the ocean and how that comes about in our reality today. So we rise by actually ascending others. So those who are doing the deepest work actually go to the darkest, deepest places, to where things have been forgotten about, in order to shine their light where there is no light, and to bring that knowledge and that wisdom to those spaces in order to bring those beings back into the full realization of their total self. Create a vibration so strong in the foundation of our planetary, cosmic, and biological metaphysical system, truly experience what we all have as our vision of the connection of all of us together in our experience. All is self. The better that you make yourself become a vibrational hub or frequency or transmitter for those who are around you. You need to know where your power comes from. Is this going to allow you to not be fooled by all these systems that are out here that are claiming that, they have the power, and that, that you should worship them, and that the symbols belong to them, because that actually begins to distort our consciousness. And then when you begin to see all this, you begin to see not only that this comes from organic nature, but also that it's within you. And so the only thing necessary for you to begin to study self. And then when you study self, then you unlock highly magnificent beings back into the full realization of their total self.